Welcome to our today's video. I'm glad to have you on board to discuss JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the power behind every website that you create online. Now, it is very important for you as a web developer to know how to integrate JavaScript in HTML. So that is what we want to discuss today. Let's dive in and see how you can be able to integrate JavaScript in our HTML. Now, JavaScript, we just want to get to know the background of what JavaScript is all about. So JavaScript is just a scripting language that enables you to create dynamic updating content, control multimedia and animated images. So basically JavaScript, the main intent of using JavaScript in our web pages is just to bring that dynamic nature of it, or that issue of just ensuring that the content that you have in your website it is well updated. Now by 2022, if you check the statistics, you realize that 98% of websites had JavaScript embedded in them to create interactivity. So you go to these mainstream popular web application, for example like YouTube, you go to others like X. Now you realize that behind each and every web application, behind it we have JavaScript in it, and therefore that is how JavaScript is so powerful in the current world. Now web application development has been made possible because of JavaScript. So it's not possible for you to bring the interactivity nature in your website or in a web application without the use of JavaScript. Why, or what makes JavaScript mostly used is because of simplicity. So we'll be able to see how to write this code, and then you'll realize that it's just very simple to write a JavaScript code. Popularity is also another feature that makes it mostly used, because of the plenty of resources available to help the beginners. So it is so easy for you to learn about JavaScript, and I can only say this because I've had some experience in this particular field of web development. If you can be able to master this part of web development called JavaScript, then you are you are going to be more well positioned in the job market. Then we also have versatile. This particular programming language is more compatible with other languages, so you can be able to see it is going to be used in many other languages. Then you have updates. Also, this particular language undergoes continuous upgrade by the ICMA, which is now the father of everything in this particular case. Yeah. So these are some of the reasons, these are some of the definition of the word JavaScript. If you never knew, we have just been able to talk about it, and also we have been able to look at why is it mostly used in the current web development scope. Now, without wasting time, we want to discuss 4 main ways of integrating JavaScript into HTML. Now, in order for you to be able to write a program in JavaScript, the following are required. 1, you need the text editor. So a text editor, for example, I'm using VS Code. So you just go to maybe the Google, you type there VS Code. If you are new in programming, I'm just doing this for you. You just go there, type VS Code, download. You download the application. Yeah, you download the application, and then after downloading it, you install it. After installing it, then you'll have such kind of an interface displayed. Then we also need a web browser. Why do we need a web browser? A web browser in this case is just meant to ensure that you can be able to run the JavaScript programs that you have written. Yeah, so we are going to see an example of how you can go about that. And then also this Chrome browser, I can emphasize on Chrome because Chrome has got tools that enable you even to debug JavaScript programs. That's why I really recommend that you use Chrome to be able to debug or to be able to run the JavaScript programs. So that is exactly how you can be able, those are some of the tools that you can be able to set up. And what if you have got other text editors? For example, you have Notepad++ or you have Sublime Text. So those are other applications that you can be able to use, text editors that you can use to create programs in JavaScript. So that is the environment, how to set up the JavaScript environment so that you can be able to write the JavaScript code. Another very important thing that you should be able to do is to ensure that you have created you can create a folder on your desktop. If you are new in this, you can just right click on this particular part and then you go to new, and then you go to folder. So when you click on folder, it's going to create such kind of a thing. Make sure that you have created a folder for JavaScript programs so that you can just be able to group your work perfectly for somebody else to be able to go through for future reference. Yeah, so that is all I can say for now, just to help you to get started on this particular area. Now I want to discuss about 4 ways that you can incorporate JavaScript in your HTML. Now we will talk about number 1, the inline JavaScript. So how do you have the inline JavaScript? Now I'm going to create a new file. So I'll click here. I'm going to create a new file. I'll click here. Okay, then you go to new, to file. So we have new file here, so I'm going to click on new file. Now I'll write there, maybe I can have the word like JavaScript. Yeah, JavaScript.html. Remember, JavaScript is embedded inside the HTML, so make sure that you have the main. So we have been using in the past index.html, so there's no problem. You can even decide to save it as index.html. It doesn't have any impact in this particular case. So I'll click on this. Then I'm going to look for a folder where I'm going to store it. So I'm going to my desktop. So this is my desktop. I'm going to that folder that I already created. I'm going to click on that folder. So where is that folder? Okay, we called it JavaScript. So I'm looking for JavaScript folder. Okay, so I can go there. Here it is, JavaScript. So I'm going to put this particular file inside here, like that. Yeah, so it should be able to display such kind of a window. So I'm going to type a very simple HTML. Inside there. So maybe I can start fresh. Doc type HTML. Yeah, then after that we are going to enter now the head. Going to enter the head, and inside the head you can just say title. You can just have the title there, and then you say JavaScript integration. And then after that we are going to just create a very simple body. Just going to say body, then we are going to say that paragraph. Welcome to JavaScript space. Welcome to JavaScript space. So that is the text that just to show you what we did in HTML. And then you can now be able to bring in the JavaScript. So now I want to have a button that when I click this particular button will be able to display the name. Maybe you can say, for example, hello, I'm programming in JavaScript. So that is the word that I want to be displayed. But now that is what we call an event listener. So you have got a button, and inside that particular button you have placed there an event listener that when the user clicks on it, is going to pop up or is going to output the name or the hello, you are programming in JavaScript. That is the text that I want to be displayed. Now you can be able to perform that task by using inline JavaScript. Now this is how you go about it. You just create a button, you create a button like that, then you say on click, say on click. Now inside the on click, you're just going to say alert, and then you put the, remember we have started with the double quotation, but inside this brackets you're going to use the single quotation. So I'm going to write the text that I want it to be displayed here. You're just going to say that hello there, I'm programming, I'm coding in JavaScript, I'm programming in JavaScript. So that's the text that I want to be displayed in that particular case. Now remember, we are still in that particular part whereby we want to define the JavaScript. So this is what you call the inline JavaScript. This is what we call the inline JavaScript. So you can see we have got the element, the HTML element. Inside that HTML element, we are putting in the JavaScript code. Yeah. So when you close this angle bracket, inside here you can put the name, for example, hello. You can just say click here, click here. So that's the text that I want to be displayed in that particular case. And then you can see we close the button element at this particular end. So if I save this, and then I go to that particular folder that I created, I just go to that folder that I created. This is the folder. You can see it as it has that icon, logo of the Chrome. So when I double click on it, it should be able to display the output that I've just been able to create. So let's see. Yeah, so it has loaded. So it is loading the JavaScript. So you can see here we have got the paragraph that we created. So let me bring it up again. So we have got the JavaScript. You can see here we have got the paragraph that we have just created. It has well been displayed in our browser. And then down here we have got a button called click here. So when I click here, I should be able to see that output. Boom, that is there we have it. So the output here is hello there, I'm coding JavaScript. So this is the text that is going to be displayed, and you can see it is a pop-up. This page says. So this implies that there is that capabilities of JavaScript that has been enabled in this particular web browser. So that's how you can be able to have the inline JavaScript embedded in your web browser, in your HTML. Now the second way to be able to include JavaScript is what you call the internal JavaScript. So the internal JavaScript is just the same way we did in CSS. If you don't know how to have the internal CSS, you can be able to watch my previous videos on internal CSS. So I've already been able to explain also this, how you can be able to incorporate CSS in your program, in your HTML file. Now the second part here, we are going to incorporate now a JavaScript, but using internal JavaScript. Yeah, so you are going to say script. So you are going to say script, then you say type, and then you give us text stroke JavaScript. Yeah, it's already pop up here. So we can have that closing angle bracket, and then you can have space. Inside this, I just want to say alert. I want just to use the word alert, and then you can give us whatever you want to alert in this case. So you can just say that page successfully loaded. So that is the text that I want to display in this particular case. So page successfully loaded. Boom, there we have it. So by doing that, you can decide to use the semicolon at the end of that that particular part. So when I save this, and then I refresh this page, so you can see by default it is going to start with this part. Yeah, so this one is going to be automatically loaded. That's why you can see it say page successfully loaded. So when I click OK, I go back to my initial part, whereby I can now click in this particular case. Now, what is the difference between internal JavaScript and inline JavaScript? Is that with inline JavaScript, they wait for some event. Yeah, so when you incorporate an inline JavaScript, basically it will wait for a certain action to be performed on that element before it is executed. But when you use an internal CSS, it will just JavaScript, it will just automatically load. Yeah, and basically when you use internal JavaScript, you realize that you are going to use it at the end, after the page has loaded. After the page has loaded, that is when you can be able to execute the JavaScript. That's why you can see I'm using just before the end of the body tag, just before the end of the body tag here. That's where my JavaScript is coming in. And the reason behind it is just to ensure that it just loads, or it just been able to execute after the whole page has been able to load. That's why we are using it just before the end or the closing body tag. But if possible, you can as well be able to use this particular internal JavaScript at the body, at the head tag. So if you position it at this particular point, it is also valid. Yeah, it is also valid. You can go ahead and use it. But as a programmer with my years of experience, I can only say that you can use it at this particular point, because it's also okay for you to display JavaScript at the end when the HTML file has already been loaded. So that is it. Now we move to the last one. Now I want us to create, I just want us to do this, but now using external JavaScript. Remember, I've talked about inline, I've talked about internal, and now we are going to talk about external. Now external, this is whereby you have an external file that contains the JavaScript code, an external file that contains all the JavaScript code. Now in this particular case, I'm going to create an external file, and then I'm going to take this part and then put the other side. So what I'm going to do here, click on this file and then new, and in this particular case I'm just going to use a word like, let me say scripts.js. yeah, so after doing that, I just click here, I just click there, and then I just say create. So by doing that, automatically you can see JS appears automatically. Yeah, after doing that, you just see JS appearing in that particular case. So what I'm going to do, I'm just copying this code, but in this particular case I'm not interested with a script, so I'm not going to copy this. I'm just going to copy this part that is going to be executable part. So that part only, I'm just going to copy that part, and then I paste in that file that I've just created for JavaScript. Yeah, so after doing that, I can just come here and then I just get rid of this part like that. Yeah, now after you have been able to put all these files, all these JavaScript code in a separate file, how do you integrate it, or how do you be able to connect the two, the HTML and the JavaScript? So this is how you go about. Remember, we did in CSS, and therefore in CSS you are saying okay, link rel, and then we say that, and then we say style sheet. Yeah, that's what we did in that, and then we are using href, and then we are saying that okay, let's use dot and then slash. Yeah, dot slash, and then we say styles, for example, dot css. That's how we did in CSS. Yeah, so that's what we did in CSS. And you realize that CSS, the link for CSS file is supposed to be embedded in the head section, but in this particular case in JavaScript it's quite different. So this particular code that you're going to bring in for JavaScript is supposed, the link is supposed to be written just before the closing body tag. So at this particular point, that is where we are going to enter the link for our external JavaScript. So in this case, you can just say script. You start with the word script. Now this time we're not going to use the link, we're going to use script. Then you say type, type, and then we just say text stroke JavaScript. Then we can say that source src, then equal sign, and then we are supposed to give us the source. And in this case, we are going to have the source like scripts.js. so that is it. Okay, so if for instance you want to specify exactly where the file is located, you can as well go ahead and do that. You can just specify where the file is located by using dot slash like that. So by doing that, it means you are being specific where exactly the file is located. And then after that, you just close the angle bracket, and then you close the script. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so if I'm going to run this program, if I'm going to run this program, it should give me the same output that I saw. So I'm just going to reload this page, and if I've done the right thing, boom, there we have it. So you can be able to see now my JavaScript, my external JavaScript file, it is well integrated with my HTML. So this particular part, this particular link is working very well. So for example, if I want to confirm that whatever thing that I've done is okay, I can just say that I can just wrap this part, and then I can say my first JavaScript program working. So that's the text that I want to display, just to confirm if whatever I've done is correct. So if I do this and then I reload this page, do this and then I just reload this page, there we have it. So you can see that the text has changed to whatever I've just written here. That is what we call external JavaScript file being integrated with HTML. Now the last thing that I want to show you, is how to use the browser as a developer tool. You can be able to use your Chrome browser as the developer tool, whereby you can be able to use this particular Chrome browser as a tool or as a text editor. So how do you go about it? You just right click at this particular point, and then you can just go to inspect here, whereby they have written inspect. So you just right click in an empty space, and then you just go to inspect. Now when you go to inspect, you realize that your page is going to load with this particular part. Now after loading with this particular part, you just click on console. After clicking on console, I think there are some errors here, so I'll just get rid of this part. Now in this particular part of the console, I can be able to write my code here. So for example, I can just try with a very simple one. I just say alert, and then I put that, and then I just say double quotation mark, and then I just say hello there, just to check if this console can work for me. So I just do that, and then like that, and then I just close that, just like that. So by doing that, and I just click enter in my keyboard, automatically when I press enter on my keyboard, it should be able to display that output here. So you can see that whatever I've written there, it is going to be output in this particular case. So the hello world that I've just been able to put in the alert function, you can see that is being displayed there. So we can be able to use these as a tool for creating JavaScript programs. So you just go to console. In this particular part, you just go ahead and just write the JavaScript code. You can also be able to, why am I recommending Chrome, is because with Chrome it also allows you to be able to do what you call debugging. So you can be able to use Chrome browser to debug your program. So for example, in this case, I can just make some few changes. Maybe I can do some kind of adjustment here. Instead of alert, I just remove the R so that I can get alert like that. So I can save this and then I try to run this. So by default you realize that there is nothing. You can see, yeah, you can see nothing is happening. Yeah, so what you need to do, you just right click, you go to inspect. Then when you go to inspect and then you go to console, by default you can see it is giving you the problem, where the problem is. So they are saying that reference error, alert is not defined, and then also they're giving you the script number and the file that the error is in. So they are saying script.js has got an error in the first line. So this one, when you come here, you just correct the error. It's supposed to be alert, and then you save it, and then you go and rerun your program. It works very much well. So those are the 4 ways you can be able to integrate JavaScript in your HTML file. Kindly support me by clicking the subscription button, and also you can turn the notification button on, so that when I create the next video you'll be informed. Thank you so much. Bye bye.